Do you know what this is? This is cheese sandwich, and I absolutely love it. I'm a big fan of cheese. And therefore, I decided to make this lesson for you. Because you know what? Cheese has gone way beyond dairy. What I mean is, it's not just an eating product, it does so many more functions. Cheese is more than one type of a noun, it's a verb, and it's also a phrasal verb. And if you want to learn all the different meanings of the word cheese, then keep watching this lesson with me. My name is Michelle, and now I'll enjoy my sandwich. So the first meaning of the word cheese is exactly what you saw. You saw me eating cheese, and that's what it is. It is a noun and a dairy product, which means it's made out of milk, and it's a solid food which is very delicious. And we all love our pizzas loaded with cheese. And if you want to use it in a sentence, you could easily say that the waiter got her pizza with oodles of cheese. Oodles means lots of cheese. So cheese here is a noun, solid food made out of milk. Solid food made from milk. Okay, now the next one that we have is cheese and cheese and cheese. Do you remember? I told you in the beginning of the lesson that the word cheese has many meanings. You know what? Cheese as a noun itself can also have a different meaning. So this is cheese the noun, okay? This is cheese the noun. And now we have cheese the other noun. The other noun. Okay, and you must be like, enough of grammar. What is this other noun? So this other noun is actually inspired from the Hindi word cheese, which means a thing, okay? And it has its origins actually in Urdu. The word cheese means thing in Hindi. But in English, it can be used for a person who is very important. So if you say that she's big cheese, this means that she's a very important person. So you could say that she's a big cheese in the office, which means that she's a very important person in the office. Now, the important thing is, although this is inspired from the Hindi cheese, but the spelling remains same, okay? And you write it as cheese, and English has adopted it with this spelling. So it means a person who is very big or very important. She's a big cheese in her office. Okay, now the first one is the noun and the second one is the other noun. Now what about this cheese? What could it mean? Is this cheese a noun? Yes or no? This cheese is a verb, okay? It's a verb. Now this cheese means cheese. How do I look when I say cheese? Well, I'm always smiling, but especially when I say cheese, I'm smiling even wider. This is a common word that photographers use to get you to smile if they're clicking a picture. So whenever you're clicking a picture, next time say cheese so that you can smile widely. So cheese can be used as a verb to ask someone to smile. You could say, hey, give me a cheese, which means give me a nice smile for this picture. Cheese can be used as a verb to ask someone to smile. Great. But what about this? Again, cheese, is this a verb or an adjective or a noun? Now, this is also a noun. Can you beat that? You never knew that cheese has so many meanings, did you? You love this lesson for sure. So this is a noun. So this is the noun, this is the other noun, and this is the other noun. And out here, cheese means money, okay? So this is a slang word for money. And you can use it. It's like an old slang word. It's often used in British English. So if you hear someone using cheese for money, you know that they are Brit, or possibly they are very good with British English. So cheese for money can be used like, uh, she's not very happy with her job because she's not able to make enough cheese, which means she's not able to make enough money. So this is how you can use cheese for the other noun to mean money. Okay, so these are the 4 ways and 4 meanings of the word cheese. The first is a noun, solid food. The second is cheese, the other noun, which is a very important person, a big cheese. It's usually used with the word big. So, big cheese. She's a big cheese. And the third one is cheese. And the fourth one is money cheese. Okay, now we look at some other words with cheese. So these words are a combination of words, usually called as collocations, which means 2 words which come together to mean something. So the first one of these is hard cheese. Have you ever heard any other word combining with hard? Think of it. Take a few seconds. She has a very dash. She has a very hard dash. So let's say that she always gets into something wrong. So she has a very hard luck. Yes, you got it right. So hard cheese could also mean hard luck or tough luck. This is again British English, but Americans also use it. So hard cheese means a person who has a really bad luck. Now don't ask me that what's so unlucky with cheese because I don't know how it originated, but that's what it means. So, I have this friend who works like throughout the month and gets only £1 per day for working 8 hours every day. Now that's hard cheese, which means that's hard luck. Okay, so this is hard cheese for you. If you know someone who has a really tough luck, you can use this to talk to them and tell them that they have a hard luck. Okay, the next one that we have is cheese pairing. So like we saw that cheese has some connection with money, it's also used for money here. The same way cheese pairing here is also used for money. But here we have the word pairing. So here it means that a person who uses money very stingily or miserly, which means they don't like to spend too much money and they take too much care when they're spending money. They don't want to waste money maybe, and sometimes they just go a bit over with that. So they don't want to spend over little things and they try to save money wherever they can. So if they are buying vegetables, they'll try saving money. If they are buying a car, they'll try saving money. So such a person loves cheese pairing, which means that they love, saving money or spending money miserly. And if you want to use it in a sentence, you could say that she's really not into cheese pairing or pinching, which means to spend money miserly. I'll write it here for you. I guess you're already hungry now because I've talked about so much cheese. Don't worry, just 2 more to go. So the next one is head cheese. And here we are, again talking about food. Okay, so this is a kind of food, head cheese. When I talk about, I've already told you it's food, okay? So when I talk about head, what can you think of? Something vegetarian or non-vegetarian? Non-veg. And when you think of cheese, is it vegetarian? Okay, that's a cliche, but it's sort of vegetarian. For some people, it's still non-vegetarian because it comes from the animals, but it's vegetarian because we are not eating animals, we're eating a product by the animals. Okay, so head is non-vegetarian and cheese is vegetarian. So what about the food dish? Is it vegetarian or non-vegetarian? Well, the answer to the $1,000,000 question is it's non-vegetarian. Yes. Head cheese is actually a jelly meat. The meat looks like cheese, okay? Possibly like goat cheese. So it looks like a jelly and cheese. So that's why it's called head cheese. So this meat is basically made out of pig's head, calf and neck. So that kind of meat which looks like jelly and cheese is called head cheese. If you were a non-vegetarian, you could have eaten this. But since you are not a non-vegetarian, you cannot eat head cheese. So do remember that you cannot eat head cheese. It's a meat or jelly meat. And the origin of this dish was in Europe and is usually eaten cold. I've not yet tried it. If any of you have tried it, then do let me know in the comments how it tastes. I think I'm going to try this too, since I love cheese so much. This is not cheese. Okay, the last one we have is cheesed off. Did you get my expression? Cheesed off. This means that I am quite cheesed off, annoyed or irritated. Cheesed off means to be annoyed or irritated. So if you're really annoyed or irritated, you could say that you're cheesed off. And my friend who is not able to make enough cheese at his 1 pound job, he is quite cheesed off with it, which means that he's quite annoyed with it. Now we're going to look at all the words once again. Cheese, the noun, and cheese, the other noun, and cheese. This means to smile, it's a verb. And then we have cheese as money, and all of these are collocations that you can use. And if you're not cheesed off, then congratulations, because we are at the end of the lesson and you can go ahead and have that cheese pizza because I know you're very hungry now. So thank you so much for watching this lesson with me and come back for more. This is Michelle signing off. Bye-bye.